Caught you.
You got me. You got me. I was head bobbing. I was
I was doing
getting
the
into
same
it.
thing. We're looking at this background to make sure we don't screw this up. So, folks, good morning. Marky, how are you today, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, brother? I'm
Good.
ready for
Good.
today. I am excited.
Yeah, we got another guest with us this week. For you wrestling fans out there, we have the Machoverse. He's a one of the best Macho Man impersonators I've ever seen in my life.
I,
So I'm excited to chat with him and his experiences and things like that. So we got some questions. You guys feel free, interact and chat. Chat with us, ask questions. Jared's in the background. He'll pull up the ones that are relevant, and we'll go from there. So, Jared, if you want to bring him in here with us, we'll get started.
You didn't think you'd see me tonight, yeah. You didn't think the Macho King would be in attendance, yeah, but I'm here, yeah.
Well, man, freak out. Yeah. Cup of coffee in the big time, yeah. Cup of coffee, man, yeah. Well, man, freak out. Good to be here, yeah.
How are you, big guy? How's everything going down there?
Pretty good, yeah. Very good, okay, yeah.
So, thanks for coming on, giving us your time. We know you're a busy dude. It's great to have you with us. So we're gonna start off a little bit. Hey, what made you get into this, man? You're a great impersonator. We've seen you on your Instagram feed and stuff. What was the big draw for you?
Very busy, yeah. The Tyler Perry of madness, always busy. I'm gonna go to my regular voice now. Welcome, thanks for having me on the show, fellas. What got me into this? I've been a lifelong Macho Man fan. So much that if I was in a bathroom, right, and someone's on the stall, before I leave the bathroom, I'll go, "Oh yeah," and then I'll just slam the door, and they're just like, "What happened?" So moving to New York City, we were going to the Halloween parade, looking for a costume, and the idea came through my head as Macho Man, right? So a parody of Macho Man. It'd be funny if there was Macho Man, but instead it was like a green pattern, right, with matcha tea swirls, stuff like that. And I got my wife to be Miss T. Elizabeth, and she wore green, and we had a whole matcha thing going on. It was a big hit at the parade. I had green hair, whole thing. So started going to wrestling shows as Macho Man. I ran into a guy named Mike Ramundi, who is a Dusty Rhodes cosplayer impersonator. He's been doing it for several years now. I got to know him. I started going to more shows. Friend of a friend saw me front row at an Impact show in Poughkeepsie pay-per-view, and he said, "Hey, Moon Knight just had their season finale. I want to film a parody called Macho Night. Would you do it?" And I was like, "Oh yeah!" So I went down to Poughkeepsie, where I'm originally from, actually, and we shot this. And for this, I was actually Macho Man. So I had pants and a robe that my wife made for Burning Man a couple of years before. So I wore that. It wasn't as elaborate as it is now. I had like the Macho Man tank top, purple one. So I did that video. Didn't get a lot of views, but I was like, man, that was fun. I saw the pictures, and I'm like, I could just be regular Macho Man and these parody characters as well. So I talked to my wife, who is actually a costume designer. She worked for many big productions in Vegas for several years, including Cirque du Soleil. And she put together the NWO Macho Man with lightning bolts, and the Madness one from WCW, where it says Madness everywhere. So I wore that to Brooklyn Comic Con, huge hit. Impression still wasn't very good, but people loved it. It was such a great time. I stayed in character the entire time. That's how I started. Nowadays, I'll go in and out, especially for podcasts. I'll be myself, and I'll go in and out, in and out, like the Kevin Kline movie. I dig it, deep cut right there. So I started doing conventions, and then after that, I was like, let's make some more costumes, and I paid her to keep our marriage economy strong, and now I have about 20 costumes, including a few variations, and there are probably 5 more on the way right now that are currently in production. So I would just go to wrestling shows and conventions. I would film random videos, and it got to a point where Mike Ramundi, Dusty, was like, "Hey, we're meeting up for a wrestling show in Jersey. You should do Macho Man's hitchhiking. It would be hilarious, right? And I pick you up." And I'm like, "That's a great idea." So we kind of improvised that. That got really popular. I went to Italy. That video blew up. I did a couple of videos of Macho Man going to the Coliseum. I always bring my glasses and my shirt and bandana with me now overseas, and on every trip. So from there, I was like, I'm going to start writing. I'm going to come up with sketch ideas. Started filming stuff at school. I started connecting with other wrestling impersonators. Now we have a whole big network of it. And it gave me an outlet for my creativity and for my comedy because I took improv classes, I did sketch writing, and I could never find exactly what my niche was. And wrestling parodies and wrestling skits and tributes, this is the cream of the crop. Yeah, what it is what it is. So here we are today, the Machoverse.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you first started doing this, was there any kind of, I don't want to say transition, but was it awkward for you to like, has your personality always been this outgoing to get into character and run with this, or was it a little bit of a buildup for you to get
Yes,
used to doing it?
outgoing to an extent. I mean, I like to be left alone also, but Halloween, when I was in costume, man, I go full into character. I could talk to anybody, do anything. So when I'm dressed as Macho Man, it's I say balls to the wall. Yeah, you're a racquetball, handball, huh? Dig it, yeah. Yeah. So to wear the sunglasses also makes me not care even more. Although I do confuse who people are and what they look like, and I miss details of stuff. But yes, this is my personality, and I amp it up just like The Rock would do with his character. Yeah, comparing myself to The Rock. Yeah, humble king.
I get it. I understand that completely. I mean, there's a Halloween, everything else. Corey just put in private chat. When we were Christmas time, I dressed up as the Grinch and ran around town and filmed some videos, and it was really nice to just kind of, you didn't have to be yourself. You could be the Grinch for a few minutes and cause trouble. So I totally understand where that's coming from. So
Absolutely.
And
I've been Macho Man for Halloween two other times. In college in 2007, I was Macho Man. I got a bunch of stuff from Salvation Army. I had streamers that I stapled to a suit jacket I got. Had a cowboy hat that I spray painted blue. My roommates were so pissed because it smelled so bad. Painted on a beard because I couldn't grow one at the time. I wore Macho Man to school this year as my regular job as a teacher.
So you just took my next question.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's fine. Let everybody know, what do you do as far as your career? I know this is probably something that's fairly new for you to try to start making some money doing this, but what do you do for work?
I don't know about that. Yeah, mostly fun. So what I do for work, I'm a New York City teacher, high school teacher. I've been a teacher for probably 14 years now. Yeah, 14 years I've had this. I don't drink any coffee, just an apple. Yeah, we're a fast. Yeah, so I'm a high school teacher. That's my main source of income. I have a great pension, so I'm never going to leave and do this if I start making money with this. So high school teacher, yeah. Ninth grade history. Dig it.
Now, do any of the kids follow what you do? Do they know that you do this on the side, or
they do, but they don't care because they're city kids. Like as a suburb kid, when I was substituting, I had a YouTube page way before this, and those kids were like watching my videos, and like it was embarrassing, and I didn't want them to follow it. Now, I don't act like I care. If I did, I feel like it would be more annoying. But they don't really care. Which is funny. Every now and then a kid will be like, "Oh, mister, I saw your TikTok page. You got mad followers." Like, yeah, I'm just having fun. When I went to AEW Grand Slam last year, I believe it was, I was Lightning Bolt NWO Macho Man, and I ended up on House of Highlights. I had no idea what it even was. So I came back, my second period class the next day was like, "Mister, you're all over the internet." And I'm like, "Oh, God, what did I do?" And they're like, "You're on House of Highlights." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know what that was." So there's that. I think there's two kids that followed me. One was on a baseball team I coached, a few graduates, and another kid that was did like a film club with me. So kid always walks up to me, does the too sweet thing like 6 times a day. He's awesome, but I'm like, yeah, I gotta let me eat it twice a day. Oh yeah. So most don't care. Last year at the end of the year, a little kid will walk up to me and be like, "Mister, I saw your page. It's great." I'm like, "Thanks." So they'll say that, but they don't care, and they see that I don't care.
So the administrators, are they behind this too? Like, what do they say? I'm the principal.
Yeah. So I started filming sketches after the pandemic, and I had an AED defibrillator box from coaching baseball. I had to return it, but I was like, before I return this, I'm gonna just film some skits. So I'm in like the storage room, going like, "Yeah, AED in the bank," running into the dean's office, being like, "Oh, I'm cashing in right now," and I got the money in the bank, and he's like, "That's a defibrillator." I'm like, "What?" I'm I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get your heart going. Yeah, Macho Man is very strong. So I said to my principal one day, I walked by and I go, hey, the Macho Man stuff, is it too much, or should I slow it down? And he goes, oh no, man. He's like, I love your page. It's awesome. Keep going. Also, like, I'm super teacher, so my goal is to be left alone by doing my job really well. So they see that doesn't get in the way. And I filmed multiple skits, whatever, at school. Last year, the forensics teacher had a whole crime scene set up in the hallway with like a dummy. And I was like, dude, he's like, I'm going to take this down in a few days. I'm like, can I do a CSI Macho and leave this up for a couple days? So we did CSI Macho, or Macho Man's investigating. I look in a microscope at the blood sample, and it's a video of like the Hulkster hulking up. He's got Hulkamania in his blood. And then I say, I'm going to the captain. And then I had the science teacher dress up like Captain Lou. And it's a whole conspiracy. He's like, give me your badge. He's like, give me your Slim Jims. And I'm taking it out of my boot. He's like, the one in your belt, the one behind your ear. So we did that. We filmed one again with the AED box defibrillator. I'm like, I quit baseball. I don't like coaching it. I don't know what I'm doing. So before I do that, I'm going to dress up as Macho Man after school, have the other history teacher be a referee, and I'm going to slowly climb this ladder and take it off this top shelf in the storage room. So we did that. We recently filmed Macho Man versus Godzilla, because we had a holiday hallway contest where students would build stuff for the hallways for Christmas time. And they actually had these like fake buildings with like Christmas decorations, right, made of cardboard. And the science teacher was like, I'm keeping that because I want to do a Godzilla thing. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, Godzilla versus Macho Man. He's like, bro, I got Godzilla costumes at home. So he came in with his like high tech, his rubber Godzilla costume. I came in as Macho King. It was like the last day of Regent scoring. We ran out of tests to score, and I was all planned out. My principal was watching, true story. So we filmed that. I have a blooper reel. So yeah, my principal is very supporting. The admin's very supportive, and the kids don't care. So, and some of them think it's cool. Some of them think it's weird. Yeah, because I'm having a good time. Yeah.
I think these kids probably don't appreciate you because they're not used to the old school. You're Macho, obviously an older wrestler.
Yeah, most of them.
I'm sorry for cutting you off there.
You're good,
I've talked. I filibustered my way through this interview, so I apologize if I have.
No, you're good. You're good, man.
Yeah, it's actually water.
So the older generation, the rest of the style of wrestling is totally different than the product now. And
right,
my brother's here in chat.
Right, I think you guys are my age. I'm 39, so when we were in high school, wrestling was like top cultural phenomenon, pop culture. It was on MTV, it was on the front of Rolling Stone, all that stuff. Now it's not as popular. So there's usually like one or two kids that admit they're wrestling fans in each class. So I'll have tons of wrestling references, like on my exams. I'll have a wrong answer, being like, I don't know, the Kingdom of Macho Madness for like a question about feudalism in the Middle Ages. And sometimes a kid will pick that wrong answer because they don't know the reference, but. Yeah, wrestling references all the time. I'll have a picture up. When you walk in my room, there's a picture laminated with myself meeting Randy Savage in 1999 before WCW Nitro. So I hold that picture very dear. And they're like, who's that guy? I'm like, what do you mean, who's that guy? When it's 316 in class, I'll have like Stone Cold picture on the warm-up. And instead of 3/16, it'll be 3:16.
That's awesome.
You got to have fun at work.
I love it. I love it.
Now, what was your draw for Macho Man? What was it about him that made you a huge fan?
It was his character, how intense and unpredictable he was, right? All his little quips and one-liners. Every interview and promo is something new and different. The flashy gear. And for me, it was the Slim Jim commercials that really got me into Macho Man, because I'm a little bit younger than a lot of fans, so I missed, a lot of the early WWF stuff. So my Macho Man stuff was mostly WCW and the Slim Jim commercials, and I've had to go back since. But I'd be like, snap into a Slim Jim, yeah. And I was just throughout my life, I was like, oh yeah, and that's all I knew. So yeah, it's the costumes, the attitude, the confidence, the flashiness, just the outlandishness of Macho Man. Yeah. So Seth Rollins, very similar.
Very much.
The hell of a feud.
Okay, so favorite match, Macho Man moment, what's your favorite memory of watching him wrestle?
My favorite, the Jake the Snake feud, which I can't wait to see the Rivals episode. Jake the Snake feud was awesome. Jake was such a heel, especially with that snake. And a lot of the 2000 Macho Man was very underrated, I think, because that was my era as well. So him wearing the red suit, being in the Wolfpack was a big deal to me. Being tag partners with Sid. I'm going real obscure stuff right now. The stuff with Hogan, constant feuding with Hogan. When he almost won the title from Hogan in WCW, I've watched it so many times, and every time I watch it, I'm like, Macho's finally going to win. Yeah, and then out comes Bret Hart to interfere. If it wasn't for the Hitman Hart, Hollywood Hulk Hogan wouldn't have my NWO Wolfpack title. Yeah, no, he wouldn't.
I think my earliest one was WrestleMania 4 when he was in the tournament, had to wrestle 4 times and won the belt. That was my favorite WrestleMania of all time too. But that's what really hooked me on to the Macho Man. Like he was my guy when I was a kid. 5 was great when the Mega Powers exploded. That was a great match too. So yeah, that was it's a lot of the products changed from what it is now.
Also, a lot of the DDP stuff, and DDP is my other favorite wrestler. One of my favorites. So a lot of their stuff as well, I was really big into when Macho had the Macho Madness stuff.
Awesome. Mark, you got anything else?
No, not with that one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no. Reading the TikTok chat right now.
So nice. So. Do you have any upcoming events, or actually, let me go back a bit.
Oh boy, yeah.
Your favorite event so far that you've done in your career doing this?
Yeah, Wrestle Bash in New Jersey, hands down. That was last July. Mike Ramundi, who plays Dusty Rhodes, him and myself went, and we didn't know what to expect. It was at a hotel in Jersey, and it's one of those conventions where all these wrestlers from different feds, past and present, future, show up. And Mike and I just, I was NWO Wolfpack Macho. He was Dusty with the polka dots, and we just walked around, and there were wrestlers just hanging out away from their tables. So a lot of them engaged with us. It was really cool. Some ignored because you got to pay to play. Yeah, you're gonna pay to play just for Shorty Bang Bang to look your way. Yeah. So we got to meet. So one of the reasons I went there is Jay Lethal, who is an amazing what can I say? Vessel of Madness. Yeah, he had Black Machismo, a Macho Man character in Impact. Yeah. So he was going as Black Machismo, and I'm like, oh my God, Jay Lethal's going as Macho Man. This is gonna be amazing. So I saw him, and I tapped him on the shoulder. I'm like, you must be the other guy Miss Elizabeth's been talking to late at night on the phone. Yeah, I know all about you, pal. And we did a whole for like 5 minutes. Yeah, is that right? Is that right? And then there was another Macho Man there, this guy Keith from the Poconos, and I think he's the best one I've met. So the 3 of us were back and forth going, yeah, is that right? Yeah, yeah, who knew? Not me, it wasn't him. Yeah, it must have been him. So we did that for a while. We made a video of us just machoing it up, and literally unplanned, we're machoing it up, and Earl Hebner comes out of nowhere with his referee shirt and his cowboy hat, walking in the picture and goes, this is the biggest pile of bullshit I've ever seen in my life. And we start yelling at him like, I'm going to ring the bell on you. I'll put you in the sharpshooter, pal. Yeah. So that we also got to meet DDP, Mike and I, and DDP is super grateful because Dusty and Macho were 2 of his biggest influences. So to see us being a tribute to his late great friends, he was so excited. We did a video together. He put us in the diamond cutter. You could see he's like, bang, bang. And he's doing this thing. And then we walked over, we were passing Eric Bischoff's table, and he was like, oh my God. And he goes, wow, this is a huge, I don't think my impression is that good. It's getting better. But he goes, wow, you got it down, brother. You're giving me chills. And I was like, oh my God, for Eric Bischoff to say that, it's amazing. And he goes, I got to get a video with you guys. And he called us over, took a video, put it on his Twitter. And then that was a huge compliment for me.
That's awesome.
So that event was awesome. We got to meet Thunder Rosa, all sorts of wrestlers. And a lot of them are just big old school wrestling fans. So they really appreciate it.
Now, which one is your favorite? Is it DDP, or do you have another one that was one of the favorite wrestlers that you got to meet?
That I got to meet? It would have to be, DDP, Jay Lethal, Mick Foley. It was amazing to meet Jake the Snake, especially at Comic-Con this past year, because my wife's like, what costumes are you want me to make? And I was like, ooh, the snake bite one, with the orange and black boots and the pink and zebra pants with the green shirt with the beads and the cowboy hat. And a few weeks before the event, they're like, Jake the Snake's going to be there. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, he's either going to love this or I'm going to give him a heart attack. The 4th day of the convention, because I had set up, what I was going to wear each day. I was doing Macho Juice, Beetlejuice with Sting. It's showtime. So I got to meet Jake, and man, it was awesome. he was just, his sense of humor was hilarious. I filmed videos of myself just walking around Comic-Con going, I'm looking for the guy that ruined my wedding. Yeah, get this snake off my arm. My wife she got a stuffed snake, and she had made this skin tone band so you can put it on the arm. So it was really crowded that day. So I was walking through the convention floor going, get out of my way, I got a medical emergency, and people would turn around and just see that I'm holding a snake on my arm, and they're like, oh, like, come on, I need a medic, it's an emergency, out of my way. So when I saw him finally, I was like, you're the guy who ruined my wedding. And he goes, I did you a favor. And it was hilarious. Meeting him was really cool. Who am I forgetting? Thunder Rosa was awesome. Matt Cardona is always cool because he always engages. When I go to a show that he's in, I'm usually like standing up close as Macho Man by the ramp, and he'll usually engage and talk some trash. And Steph DeLander, shout out to her as well, his protege and the deathmatch queen, who I gave her my Slim Jim, and she threw it without even looking, and it knocked my crown off at House of Glory. So amazing. Those are words I can think of off the top of my head. Ric Flair was also very excited to see me. He was laughing and smiling.
That's great.
Yeah,
So how many actual WWE events do you go to? How many have you been to? Favorite one?
Favorite. Well, SummerSlam '98 was my first event.
Okay.
That was Taker versus Austin.
Yep.
So that goes up there in infamy, Highway to Hell. I'm on a highway to hell, yeah. And from there, I lived in Poughkeepsie, which WWE would come to like several times a year, but I never asked my parents. If I was a kid, I thought they'd say no. So later on, ECW was coming around. I got into that, and we went to Hardcore Heaven '99, and that was the epic Jerry Lynn versus RVD match. It was awesome. We had fourth row. I dressed up like Bubba Ray Dudley. I had a painted on beard. The kids behind me kept chanting "crappy mustache," which I was chanting also, but it turned out that it was about me. Also, my friend Hale Collins, who's in the now NWA, he would dress up as this guy that would wear a blue wig and all this blue Superman stuff, and he would just taunt the crowd like ultra heel. So it was that. And my favorite one ever would have to be ECW One Night Stand '05. ECW held a special place in my heart. My friends and I had a backyard wrestling fed in Poughkeepsie with kids from 4 or 5 different high schools. We had a website. I was making highlight videos every week. It was right before YouTube, but we had entrances. We had like fans, like students coming from different schools to watch us every Saturday. So our dream was to be in ECW. I went to wrestling school for a few months. ECW folded, super sad, depressed. I started college. 05, my friend told me they're doing a pay-per-view with WWE. It's called One Night Stand. So we got front row balcony the whole time, and they were drinking. Across from us on the balcony was like Eric Bischoff and JBL, Kurt Angle, all the heels that were anti-ECWs the whole time were like, F you, you piece of, just screaming at them the whole time. It was amazing. I felt real. And super crazy did the moonsault off the balcony right in front of us. So when you see that clip, we're right there. So that gave us a glimpse of hope that ECW was coming back. We got to see Stone Cold come out and beat up Eric Bischoff at the end. Taz, Rey Mysterio came out. That was like amazing. That's top 5 nights of my life.
Now, wasn't that the match where Cena fought RVD for the WWE title too?
That was '06. So this is the one. Yeah, RVD was injured, but he came out and did the corner like chair shot, I think, to like Rhino.
But that was the same venue though.
Yeah, same venue. My favorite venue, Hammerstein Ballroom.
Yeah, that was watching that match was crazy. If any of you guys haven't seen that, want to see a crazy match, go on YouTube and watch that because that was nuts. They hated Cena. I mean, those ECW fans are legit crazy.
And the Sandman entrance that night is epic. I always see it on Instagram where he's in the crowd. Yeah, that was my favorite. AEW Grand Slam, the first one was great, but yeah, nothing lives up to ECW One Night Stand '05. SummerSlam, Royal Rumble 2000 I went to as well. I don't go to that many WWE events. I go to AEW when they're here, and I go to mostly indie shows. So I go to House of Glory. Shout out to them. I've been to a few GCW shows. And plug in the last match musical experience, went to that a couple of times. My wife is the head of wardrobe and costume for that show. That is a combo of a rock concert, a Broadway musical, and a wrestling show. Matt Cardona was the main heel in the show, and Ramin Karimlo, who actually played the Phantom of the Opera, one of the most famous Broadway stars. I didn't know this, but my wife works with Broadway, so she fills me in on everything.
That's awesome.
Ramble, ramble, ramble. Yeah, ramble on. Led Zeppelin. Yeah.
I love it. So when you go to these shows, you go in character, correct?
Yeah, I do.
What's that like?
It's fun. People love it. And my goal is to not take away from the match. I don't want to be one of those fans that people are like, oh, this guy trying to put himself over. So I'm engaged in the match, but I'm like the fan going like boo and like cheering and stuff. But I'm not like, hey, look at me, don't look at the match. So we make sure not to do that. But it's fun. People walk up, they take pictures of me, we do videos, like, hey, Macho, and it inspires me to go to the gym more. So, gotta really stay in shape for this. I'm there 6 days a week right now, just training for the next conventions and whatnot. But people love when we go to shows, conventions. Everyone loves Macho Man. I'll be walking to Penn Station to take the train to go to a show, and I had a cop on the loudspeaker going, "Oh yeah, cream of the crop," and like quoting Macho Man. I wish I had someone to film it at the time. And I'm turning around going like, "Oh yeah." I had cops come up to me, take the pictures with me, security guards, crackheads. Those super
Both
racist
ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, yes, all ends. The super racist guys in Times Square with the microphones. That's like those professional troll guys that wear the camouflage pants in the crowds. Shout out to them. They love the Macho Man too. Which one day I was wearing sunglasses. It was at night. I was leaving a costume event, and these guys start cutting a promo of Hogan, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going back and forth, and I'm like, yeah, you're looking like the Dudley Boys with those pants, and I pan up and I see the crown. I'm like, oh my god, those guys hate everybody, but they love the Macho Man. So I've only had a couple people that got confrontational with me, but they were jabronis. Yeah, I stayed in my character, and they were like, okay, cool. I'm like, yeah, get out of here, man. I do this for fun. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So I'm assuming you're going to WrestleMania in Philadelphia this year.
I am. My first WrestleMania. Yeah, first WrestleMania ever. Yeah, had to go. My friend Dark Loku and he does a lot of cosplay stuff as The Rock. He's on Instagram and all that stuff as well. He's from Philly, so him and I, we got our tickets pre-sale. Luckily, man, it was tough. I didn't put the credit card information until the end, so it literally counted down to 0, and I hit confirm. We got the tickets. I'm actually staying with Mike Ramundi, who plays Dusty, and our other friend Big Lou, who shoots a lot of wrestling content. So we're gonna film some like odd couple type sketches, being roommates, Macho Man and Dusty Rhodes, and we're gonna do a little feud as well. So we booked our Airbnb 9 months in advance. So Boy Scouts owner, be prepared. Yeah, got to be prepared. Preparation. So we prepared for that. Going to WrestleMania, doing WrestleCon, which I'm really excited for. There's a few wrestlers I've wanted to meet and take pictures with. And there's one autograph that I need to complete my Wolfpack shirt from '99, and that is Conan. He doesn't do a lot of appearances, so I'm looking for that. And I'm looking to meet Psycho Sid and Sting as Wolfpack Macho Man. Because last time I was dressed as Beetlejuice Macho Man. So.
All right, so that was a question I was going to ask you. I'm not sure how much you follow this, but being with that Sting is now done wrestling, do you think he'll be in Philly, and do you think he's going to start reconnecting with the WWE?
Yeah, I can see it happening now. Now that Triple H is there and they have better leadership, I could see him coming in for sure. I was thinking that too, and he has like a real last match.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I met Sting at Comic-Con, there was a photo op and they had certain times and so busy. So I'm like, I'm going to go outside, hang out with my friends and come back. Came back 15 minutes early and they're like, Sting is leaving right now. He's done. And he was like about to walk away. And he's like, come on, Mach, hurry up. So I dropped the whole gimmick in the voice. And I was like, hey, man, huge fan. Macho signed this shirt in '99. Could you please sign right here? And I said, loving your work right now, the resurgence. You're just doing awesome. And he goes, thanks, man. I'm having fun. And I said, how are you feeling? And he goes, like I'm 64. And got a good laugh with that. So
I love it.
Yeah, looking forward to getting a picture with him as Wolfpack Macho Man.
Okay.
And I got the shirt signed by Luger, Nash, Sting, Macho Man, and Conan's the last one. So I'm very excited for that.
I hope you get it.
Thank you. I'm getting it.
So
I signed up. Yeah.
The current product storylines.
Sure.
Who do you follow? How often do you watch? Who's your favorite wrestler you're watching now?
Right now, favorites. They're mostly in AEW. Swerve, Hangman Page, Malachi Black, Kenny Omega. Orange Cassidy. Those are my favorites right now. And Pentagon. WWE, probably Kevin Owens. Yeah, definitely Owens. I can relate to him. You know, I've always been the kind of I was always a burly kind of guy, you know, not in the best shape, but he's also agile and has power moves. Great on the mic. So KO and Nakamura as well. Nakamura, AJ Styles, which I get a lot when I wear this.
Look a lot like AJ, yes.
Yeah, apparently, and my initials are AJ, so I'm both that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's in the big time. Yeah.
All right, so I guess one of the questions we got in the private chat is, do you think that Rollins is trying to, I don't want to say emulate the Macho Man, but with all the crazy wardrobe changes and his style, do you feel that that's what he's trying to do?
Somebody's got to do it. I think what he's doing is awesome. There's not many wrestlers who are doing that many different wardrobe changes and the elaborate gear. So I appreciate him. I respect it. He's almost getting me to pay $200 at the WWE Fan Fest for the picture.
Wow.
I like what he's doing. I think he's awesome. I think he's the only one I could compare to Randy Savage's style right now. And he's going to be one of the greatest. So also, I guess, one of my favorites. But I kind of go for more obscure wrestlers, I guess.
Yeah, it's just amazing how the history carries over. You know, most of these wrestlers, most people don't realize they're actually fans. Like they do this because they love it. It's not because they want a job.
Right. And
you know,
now it's okay to be a fan as a wrestler. There was a time 100%. Where it was a stigma, and I got friends that are like, I don't want to post your stuff because I look like a fan. And there's that stigma where you can't be a fan, but you got into it because you were a fan. And I see them embracing it now, which I love. You know, Bailey, a lot of tributes to Macho Man, as you see with her gear. And you know, fans of other stuff too. You have Selena Vega with all the anime stuff.
Yep.
I'm all about it, man. Yeah, I'm a fan first. Yeah, Macho fan.
Mark, you got anything for him? I know I'm talking a lot here.
No, you're good. You're the one that kind of we were looking forward to have him come on. So I guess just trying to figure out, like, was that more your era that you liked when Macho was doing it, or the Attitude Era? Or
Attitude Era. Attitude Era is my big thing. Yeah, WWF, WCW, ECW. My mother and I would watch before WWF came on, because Nitro started at 8, Raw started at 9. We would watch Seventh Heaven and WCW because we just love to make fun of this like stereotypically perfect family. Like, you know, when the son drops the joint and the dog picks it up and drops in front of the dad, he's like, either our dog has a drug problem or our son's smoking pot. You know, so we would watch that and WCW, go back and forth, and then watch mostly Raw. When I found out about ECW, man, I fell in love. We started going to that every 3 months when they came around. We would sit front row. We would, you know, get there early in the morning to get the tickets. So that was my big thing. All of us wanted to be wrestlers. We loved Rob Van Dam, mostly. Rhino scared the crap out of me. Yeah, so I was an Attitude Era guy. I started watching it consistently at a sleepover party for WrestleMania 14, I believe, where it was Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels. And it was awesome. You had Mike Tyson, Ken Shamrock. I fell in love with The Rock, man. Steve Blackman. All those guys were amazing. Dan Severn. There's just so many awesome characters at that time, especially when they started expanding in like 98 and started increasing the roster.
When they brought Mike Tyson in there, that was incredible for that angle with Steve Austin.
Now, there was a couple things pre-show that you mentioned to us about, was there like a rumble in the subway or something like that? What was your
shout out to Tim Han Rivera, who my wife calls the Banksy of wrestling. Tim started something called Subway Mania. Him and his friends just decided to go on the train one day as Triple H and The Rock and do a promo. Got really popular. So they started organizing a Subway Rumble where the rules are, right, every couple minutes, somebody walks through from one train to another. The doors open up from train A and they enter train B. To get eliminated, you get thrown off when the stop opens. So when the doors open at the stop, you get thrown off and that's it. So I was watching that for a few years before this. Yeah, I was a big fan of it. I'm like, this is awesome, right? I was going to a costume show. I was only like 2 months into this. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to call this guy on Instagram. And I was like, I tagged him and I'm like, how are you going to have a Subway Rumble without the Macho Man? You're very disrespectful. It must be run by the Hulkster. Yeah. Mean Gene fell down. Can't be doing that. There he is. Sorry, Mean Gene. It's okay, Macho Man. Your mustache is crooked. So last February, we were in the Subway Rumble. We did a couple dry runs. We thought what we were going to do. Most of it was improvised. I mean, because like Mike Tyson says, you have a script until you get punched in the mouth, something like that. You have a plan until you get punched in the mouth. Live age restricted. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. TikTok restricting what I'm talking about. Yeah. The Subway Rumble. I was Macho Man. We all had gathered. We didn't expect any people, right? We knew the New York Times was coming, so New York Times was there. A bunch of videographers. We met at a station by 59th. There were like, I want to say 50 people just waiting there. Then you get about 15 cops show up. The real ones with the hats, some white shirts. They're wearing cop hats. You never see that anymore.
They look like they're going to invade Poland.
Yep. And I'm like, okay, I guess let's get started. We go to the train. They follow us. We go to the next car. They follow us. Get off, get on the next car. They follow us. Same train. And the thing is, we couldn't be like, hey, we're going to watch a wrestling pay-per-view, because that weekend there was no show on Sunday. There was a show on Saturday, and there were no indie shows on Sunday. So they kept following us on a train, and I'm the most flamboyant one. I got a silver Macho Man robe on me. I'm like silver and black. It's so shiny, you can't miss me. So at one point, I'm like, I'm just going to make something up. And I say, you know what, guys? I'm just going to go to a bar. I'll catch you later. 2 of my friends and I get off the train, and we wait. Everyone starts getting off. We meet at a secret location, and we get a text from Tim, and he tells us the deal. All of a sudden, some weird guy in a hood walks by, and it's him, and he goes, get on this train. So we get on this train, last stop. And at this point, man, I'm so nervous. I'm like, I'm a teacher. What if I get arrested? It's Sunday night. I don't want to go to Rikers. This is my spring break. It just began. What am I going to do? Meanwhile, everyone's stretching out. Our RVD friend, Spag, who's also Kane, is like doing his kicks. An Undertaker guy who's a pro. They're like practicing stuff. And I'm just sitting there like trying to meditate in the production car, right? With all the music guy and stuff. So it starts. My music hits. I go through the double doors, and boom, I go into Macho mode. I go, oh, yeah. I do the spin, and everyone's cheering. Most people on the train are our friends at this point. I had the math teacher from my school there. You can't make this up. And the New York Times was there. So I do the, doing the hand thing, slap everybody's hands. I do the running, standing elbow. I was looking up all his best moves and clips. We had the whole spot plan. Undertaker, I block his punch. I give him the axe handle. My friend John Tabanag is Kevin Nash. So I chop him. He falls down. I go up on the seat. I throw a kid out of the way. Get out of the way, kid. It's like a heel. I did the elbow drop off the subway seat onto the floor. My wife goes, if your costume touches the floor, you're going to be in big trouble. It did, but I was trying to avoid it. Someone gave me a backbreaker, and instead of falling, I'm like holding my back, running around, standing up. That was a lot of fun. At one point, Hogan came in, who's Tim, and everyone's like, oh, shit. And we're standing toe-to-toe, and then we do the 2 sweet. We shake hands. We start kicking Kevin Nash on the ground. Next thing I know, the doors open. Hogan throws me out, improvised. I run down the block. I run down the hall, get back on the train. Unreal experience, man. Almost a year later, we're in the New York Times, and I got a whole giant picture of me as Macho Man. It's amazing. So that was unreal. And that kind of put me on the map, I guess, because we got more fans from New York. People loved it, man. I texted my union rep before this, and I said, hey, man, I'm going to wrestle on the subway as Macho Man. Can I do that? And he's like, yeah, you're good. Nothing in the contract that says you can't. And I was like, okay. And that's a Subway Mania story. So ever since, we've been filming sketches every now and then with Tim and his buddies.
So are you guys going to do that in Philly this year?
No. In Philly, we're going to be there. I don't have that plan, but I'm going to shoot a lot of sketches. The classic Slammy Award where they're standing on stage in the 80s,
yep,
clapping. If you only knew what I'm going to do. We did one Christmas time, but we're going to have a lot more people. So I'm looking to do a big one like that. We'll probably do another Impersonator cosplay rumble where we do a finisher and run through the camera. But ever since I had to get stitches on my elbow in the summer from an elbow drop gone wrong, I'm trying to mostly play it safe and focus on the comedy.
So tell us about that. How did an elbow drop go wrong?
Right. So MTV still has VJs, believe it or not. There's a guy named Kevin Kenny. He's in a band called Big Trash. Every week he interviews, artists, and he's in a rock band, like a kind of like a Limp Bizkit type, if you will, new metal. So we connect on Instagram. He has us backstage, MTV, and we planned this. And he said, "Man, I want to do a wrestling segment during my rock show at Pianos. It's a small venue in the Lower East Side in New York City." So I said, "All right, man, I can get you Iron Sheik. I can get you Dusty Rhodes. And then how about this? We got Roman Reigns and the Usos." And he says, "Great. He's got a whole plan. We go over it several times, but we couldn't really figure out the spots. And it got to like almost the show, and we're like, and then this is gonna happen, and we kind of like kind of forgot what we were doing. So the show starts, right? And they go, whoa, we got some legends I want to call up to the stage. And I come up, Macho Man, Dusty, Sheik. At the time, the guitarist is adjusting the cord for his guitar. So Sheik is like looking all like like uneasy, like what's going on? Like he feels something under him. So it's already starting to go wrong. And then you see Roman walk. So I'm throwing Slim Jim down at the crowd from the stage. They love it. Roman walks up. He's supposed to stay in the below the stage looking at me, but he forgets the cue. He gets, love my friend Nelson, by the way, plays a great Seth Rollins, Lanny Poffo, etc. and X-Pac. He gets on the stage, gets in my face, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And like, and the guy from the band's like, yo, man, I don't want no trouble. It's not a wrestling show, man. It's a rock show. What are you doing? And the Usos are down there, bottom of the stage, like pointing at us, like talking shit. And all of a sudden, I just jump off with an axe handle on Roman. The song gets into it. It's like a hard rock song. And it was just a complete mess because every time I'm about to hit somebody, I'm like, oh, they're on my team. It's a legend. I can't hit Dusty. I can't hit Sheik, right? And we're so winded within like a minute. The Uso guys were in great shape. I got to give them that. So Sonny Kiss is there from AEW, clapping for us. I do like 3 axe handles, right? And then it gets to a point where the Usos are supposed to turn on Roman and double super kick him. But they don't. Maybe they got too into character and didn't want to turn on their tribal chief. So I'm up there standing on top of the stage, pointing at them, basically like I tore both quads, Royal Rumble. And I'm like, you guys kick him. You kick him. And I'm just getting so angry. And the song is like almost over. And they're like, just do an axe handle. Do an axe handle. I'm like, no, I did 2 of those already. And Sonny Kiss is like, jump. So I'm like, all right, man, screw it. All right. He falls down. Roman sits up, right? I go like this. I jump as high as I can off this stage. Land the elbow drop. It's awesome. I count the 1, 2, 3. I immediately get up and my elbow starts bleeding. And I'm like, what the hell? I watched the video in slow motion. I missed him by like an inch because he sat up and I cut my elbow open. So I go to the bathroom and there's a huge line. I'm like, fuck it. Let me go to the bartender. Bartender gives me a Band-Aid and an alcohol wipe. That hurt so much. And I'm not even drunk. I'm not even drinking. After that, I had a White Claw. So we're outside with my buddies. It turns out that I bled on Dusty's yellow boot, which he still has the blood stain. I bled on the MC, who's Jason Poopy Turds McGee. I bled on the MC's Britney Spears shirt, which he thought was awesome. I bled on the guitarist's wife's shoe as well, which they thought was awesome as well. You know, rock on, yeah, like a Guar concert. So I'm hanging out outside. I'm saying to my friends, how bad is this? It starts bleeding through the Band-Aid. And Chris Wayne, who does like HBK and a bunch of other cosplay, great guy, he goes, it's not that bad. And that reaction, I'm like, nope, I'm going to the ER. My wife's going to kill me if I wake up in the middle of the night and there's blood in the bed. So we start walking to the ER. People are Macho calling me, cat calling me, Macho from Cabs, man, all the time. Macho. And I'm like, yeah. Guy's taking a picture with us. I'm like, dude, I got to go to the hospital. Please hurry this up. I'm sorry. And at one point, I'm just like, no, Macho Man. I'm walking to the hospital. I go into the hospital as Macho Man. And I give my insurance card. And like, has this ever happened to you before? I'm like, no, I've never been this stupid before. And he's taking my temperature and doing everything while I'm dressed like Macho Man. My principal sees the picture and he's like, sends me a DM. This is summertime. And he goes, is everything okay? I'm like, yes. Don't worry. My wife has banned me from doing this ever again. And then my primary doctor commented on my Instagram picture saying, well, this is the first I've heard of a patient going to the ER through Instagram, but it's the first time for everything. So I ended up having to get 2 stitches. And I was like, just take an x-ray because I'm not feeling it right now. You know, the adrenaline. Next day, it hurt so much that I'm like, screw this. I'm not doing Macho Man for at least a month. I shaved my beard off for the first time in 3 years. 3 days later, someone's like, hey, I need you to make this like corporate video for our awards. My wife put me on the beard, and that was that. So I still have a scar. But I have a whole behind the scenes video, but there's blood. So maybe I'll save that for when I do a Patreon, which I'm going to be doing pretty soon. Yes. Don't try this at home. Yeah, I tried it at home. And I can't make excuses. I'm like, he moved. My wife's like, there's no excuses. You're not a wrestler. I'm like, but he moved. But I take responsibility. We all messed up. Most of us messed up, I think, except for Dusty.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So shout out to our other page, the World Wrestling Cosplayers. Great guys that I met doing this. Camel Clutch Cosplay. He does the Iron Sheik amazingly, endorsed by the kids of the Iron Sheik as well. He does Mankind, all the Mick Foley characters, Mike Ramundi, Dusty Rhodes, Chris Wayne, amazing. Oh, great body. That guy's like Rick Martel. Yeah. HBK, Family Man, does great stuff. John Tabernog, Kevin Nash, Subway Mania guys, obviously. It's Jack in the Box is a great Triple H. He looks just like how Triple H looks now and sounds just like him. So many people, man. And a shout out to Big Damo Okinawa in Japan. Last time I didn't give him a shout out, I forgot. That guy is jacked. He does an amazing Hogan and Macho Man and Rambo. He's from New Zealand and he lives in Japan. So shout out to you, buddy. He was my first hater. And then a couple years later, he came around and he didn't realize that I was the same guy. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Corey, you're back there hiding in the cave. You got anything
I'm
you want
in
to
the cave.
ask him?
Yeah, the Cave of Wonders and the Cave of Madness. Here, what are we in Aladdin? Where's Princess Jasmine? She be my new Elizabeth. Dig it.
Dude, I love it. I love it so much. No, like the one question that I had, you already got in for me. I'm trying to, leave you guys on here without me. This is your time in the spotlight, guys. But yeah, no, I really just wanted to know about the Seth Rollins question, man, because the more we got talking about all this and the more he related to Macho Man because of all the extravagance and the mic work, the promos and everything, it just hit me that's a lot of what Seth Rollins is doing today. And man, just some of the shades that I've seen this dude wear recently. I was like, man, he's like the millennial version of Macho Man, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, shout out to CB Designs also, who makes my shades. Creation by Designs, or I think it's Creations by Design on Instagram. Endorsed by Michael Braun, who was Macho Man's original costume creator. Chris makes, if not most of all my shades. I have a couple of Alpinas. I spent a pretty penny on eBay as well, but I want to make sure I plug everybody. And my wife, obviously, who makes my gear. She's amazing.
How difficult is it to look through those things?
Yeah.
Not very difficult. These are okay, believe it or not. It's there's one that's checkered that came with the Macho Man like DVD box set. Those are tough to look through. And if it's a dark club, it can be difficult. Some are easy to look through. The Alpinas, which are like these ones. Oh yeah, cream of the crop, retro gimmick. Oh yeah, had to get this.
Oh my God, you got everything. I love it.
Yeah, but
That's
again,
awesome.
I used to like mix up people. I never really mixed up photographers, but I make sure like I know who people are. And I'm like, this is you, right? Or I'll like ask them questions so I get enough hints, like guess who? And I'm like, oh yeah, I knew that was you. So there's that. But it can be tough. These ones are one of the better ones.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only other thing that I had was I know you've been talking up a lot of your crew, a lot of the guys that you hang out with at these conventions and these wrestling events and everything. And I just want to let you know that if any of those guys want to hop on the show with us as well, give their side of the story, where they got started at, what they love about wrestling, past, present, future, all of that. Just let them know. Reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to have them on. Right?
Sure. I know Camel Clutch would love to. Mike Ramundi would love to. Same with Chris Wayne, John Tabernog for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And make sure all your fans follow along on our Facebook page, Nonsense and Deep Thoughts, because we're really starting to get more and more into the wrestling content, and any kind of input is great for us.
And I'll provide the nonsense, you provide the deep thoughts.
Ooh, I love it, man. I love it, man. I was gonna give you an oh yeah, but I don't want to steal your thunder.
Oh yeah, enough madness to go around, pal. That's what Brandon Savage originally told me when I got into this. Brandon Savage, shout out to him as well. He was Macho Man in Vice, Dark Side of the Ring, out in Tennessee. Shout out to the Council of Machos. So at one point, Brandon had the idea of, hey, let's do an Instagram Live with all of us dressed as Macho Man. So no one can get their schedule right. So I just made a group chat, and now we have 14 or 15 of us. And regional Macho Man, it's all guys that go to conventions as Macho Man. I think the criteria was you have to have at least 2 or 3 costumes. So we have Macho Man out in Canada. California is Macho Mids. He's like the weed, like a weed business product guy. That's Macho Man. We have Big Doug down in Florida. We have a guy in Ohio, Alpha Magnus, who does mashups. So you might have seen the Optimus Prime Macho Man, or the Mandalorian one. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. And then in Long Island, you have Peter, who was the original Macho Man impersonator from the 80s and 90s. He'd make his own gear. He was so good that they had one of those wrestling magazines, and they put everybody's face on it, right? Like people that are wrestling that month at the pay-per-view. And instead of using real Macho Man, they actually got tricked, and they used his face instead. So there's a cover that he's on.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. So there's lots.
That's
There's
awesome.
Arizona Daily Dose of Madness. There's so many that I'm probably forgetting, but much love for the Council of Machos. It's a good place where we'll ask each other, hey, do you have a picture of Macho wearing this gear? What do you have in the back of this jacket? What are you guys doing for your wigs? You know, I met a guy, John, out in Texas, J5, and he 3D printed this crown for me. He just met Dan Soder while dressed as Macho King. He makes his own stuff. Amazing guy, amazing stuff. Yeah, so you gotta give props to the council. People say, "What's it like meeting other Macho Men?" I'm like, "It's awesome."
It's all about having a good time, man.
Yeah. If you've seen a guy that looks just like him, that's Keith over in the Poconos. And when I first met him, I had to ask him if he was wearing a mask. And his impression is great. I try to learn from him every time I see him.
So you said Keith from the Poconos. We are in the Poconos.
Okay, so you've seen Keith at the Wrestling Superstore. At whenever there's a signing, he shows up as Macho Man. He was at 80s Wrestling Con, 90s Wrestling Con. You can't miss him. He's one of the best, and he has no social media, so he must have 3X lives. Oh, and shout out to my friend Nelson, who doesn't have Instagram, doesn't have anything. He works for MTA, and he's the X-Pac guy in my videos, so people think is X-Pac. Yeah, and Seth Rollins and Roman and Lenny Poffo. And shout out to Matt, Mystical Cosplays, who played the Sandman. Really popular video this week, man. He's the only Sandman cosplay I've ever seen.
Perfect. All right. So one thing I want to let you and all of your followers, all your fans know is that over here at Nonsense and Deep Thoughts, we do all of our shows live, and it's all about interaction for us. So if they hop into chat and want to talk wrestling, you guys want to talk wrestling whenever we're in here, man, that's what it is all about. So
It is what it is.
I love it, baby. Oh yeah.
I got my little buddy right here. Yeah.
Oh, the wrestling buddies.
Yes.
Get pop shots.
All right. So from what I understand, we have one of your wrestling buddies that might want to make a special appearance and
Zeus, bring him on. Yeah, you got
and have a quick chat with you because he is going to be one of our special correspondents down at WrestleMania. So he's going to help us out down there and get us a little bit of WrestleMania content. So we are going to bring him in for you in just a second here as we're letting him get ready. And
you got Sting, didn't you?
Yeah, I think his name is the Bulkster. His name is the Bulkster. So we're going to bring him on in, man.
Well, it's the Bulkster. Yeah, I could see the lust in his eyes even through his glasses. Yeah, these are 3D, but they're see-through. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, Machoverse.
Yeah.
What you gonna do when the NDT podcast and the Bulkamaniacs run wild on you?
Oh yeah, let me tell you something, Hulkster. Let me talk to Mean Gene right here. Mean Gene, I see the Hulkster coming in, and I don't need no pukesters on my left, no pukesters helping me on the right. Didn't need them then, don't need them now. You know what I got, Hulkster? You better play your cards right, or you're gonna meet my little voodoo doll that I made for you. Yeah, special guest. Yeah, you better watch it or I'll twist that arm, pal. But we can be friends or we can be enemies. Yeah, we've battled so much. I think 13's are either our lucky number or unlucky number. Yeah,
See you at WrestleMania, brother.
I dig it.
I love it. That's a wonderful guest appearance from the Bulkster, and I am very much looking forward.
Mega Powers against the Mega Bucks. I dig it. We're back.
Yes,
I
love it.
Oh yeah, the Bulkster. Oh yeah, who knew?
We are very much looking forward to getting some good content down at WrestleMania from my dude there.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll be there. Yeah.
All right. I absolutely love all the impersonator stuff. I think you guys do a fantastic job. And I think my favorite thing is that you don't let the outside world bother anything in your minds about this stuff. You're out, you're having fun, having a good time doing what you do.
Right. I used to get offended
that
and respond like, hey, man, I work out a lot. And I have a wife. I'm not a virgin. But now I just respond in character. You know what I mean? Or I was a hater of the day, and my wife's like, you should do hater of the week. These people are making me angry. And I hate to see the negativity. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I try to shame them and not block them. And sometimes they actually come around and they join the side of the madness. Lose the sadness, get with the madness.
Yeah. I'm so glad you mentioned that because you had mentioned something about that pre-show and I was very curious. So now I'm even more curious. Do you have a most memorable hater of the day or hater of the week?
They're they're all so bad. What I do is I take a screenshot of the quote and I put it on. I blow it up on my story, and then I take a picture of that person. If it's public, I'll take an embarrassing picture of them and I'll say who they look like. I'll be hater of the day, and then I'll tag them on it to shame them, and they can also reflect on them being acting like a crappy person. So it helped crappy person, yeah. Lately, okay, there was one guy. I had a video I posted 2 days ago meeting Haku at WrestleCon or WrestleBash, and this guy goes, "I would pay money for haiku, like the Japanese poem, to punch this clown in the face." So first I respond with, "I think you're talking about a haiku." I usually all caps as Macho Man. So I'm like, "I got one for you," because I found a picture of his Facebook and he's crying in front of the mirror with an Undertaker shirt on. The Undertaker retired. So it was something like, "Why are you crying? You know, it'll be okay. Like, don't be so sad, hater." Something like that. But it was 5 seconds. I swear I checked it. And this guy sent me a wall of text. It was a little bit insane. Yeah. So that was a good one with the picture of him crying. I'm not trying to bully anybody. I'm just trying to shame them so they don't bully. You know what I mean?
That's
Right.
Hey man, sometimes that's what you got to do. Put
Yeah,
people in
for
their
an
place.
eye.
Right. Sometimes I got to call them racist of the day or creep of the day. There's some real
Yeah.
creepy stuff. My favorite one though is when people comment and say Virgin Convention, and I go, "Oh yeah, thanks for being the keynote speaker. Yeah, I'm waiting until marriage, and I look forward to your next speech and all your tips on being a virgin." You know, and like I got guys messing me like, "That was good, man. That was good." I'm just messing
I
like,
love
"Oh
it.
yeah, so am I."
All right, so
All right.
Jared found a picture for us that he was going
Is
to
that
put
right?
up.
Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So Jared, you want to show that?
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Looking for a zoologist. Yeah, that's a costume, man.
That's a hell of a costume. I
Hell of
gotta
a
say, I
costume.
love that.
My
That's
wife
great.
my wife made hat covers, so it's the same hat, but it just goes on with vinyl. She is amazing at making costumes.
That's
Anyone
awesome.
said, "Do you have any info on Miss Elizabeth? She's icing up the champagne." Yeah, don't worry about it. I don't ask you about your ugly children. I'm just kidding. Just joking. But you gotta have these responses ready because people say a lot of the same stuff at conventions. They're always like, "Where's Miss Elizabeth?" I'm like, "How dare you ask me that? Yeah, none of your business." Well, she's icing up the champagne. So you get the same stuff in the comments. I get, "Oh, Macho Man from Wish." I'm like, "Yeah, I wish you had better jokes, pal." Or I say, "I'm from Etsy. This is custom. Give me a little respect." Yeah, we beat those guys up from Wish, and we're a team. Oh yeah, Etsy. So I was never good at comebacks. I was like the guy like 10 minutes later. I should have said that, but now, man, all this practice, I'm getting real good. Yeah.
I was gonna say you gotta have that practice, you gotta have that experience.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said for that.
There was a guy that said virgins, and I look at his profile. It's all pictures of him and his cat, and I said, "Oh yeah," says the guy married to his cat, and that was it.
That's perfect.
We're all put a bunch of hearts and be like, "Yeah, you'll find somebody. I'm rooting for you, little buddy. Oh yeah, best of luck. Be happy." And I'll put hearts, and like, how do you respond to that? You can't.
You can't.
Oh man,
No.
internet trolls really are the best. I tell you what.
Yeah, keeping me on my toes. Yeah, I dig it.
So is there anything coming up for you personally that you want to promote? Any kind of giveaways, any kind of events, anything that you want to let people know about?
This is from Pop Shots. They are the modern brand that makes wrestling buddies. They make UFC buddies, wrestling buddies, all custom. I'm doing a giveaway soon. I'll post it coming this week. Their site is Get Pop Shots, and we're gonna do a Macho giveaway right here. So that's coming up. Shout out to Matt Cardona, Mike Canick, Brian Myers, and the rest of the major bendies. They sent me this for doing a little spot on my Instagram, and more are coming out. So I'm really happy about that. I'm going to start a Patreon pretty soon, as per my wife has been asking me for a while. It's true. I'm still trying to figure out what to put on and get used to working with the program. But there's going to be a lot of behind the scenes. I'm going to do Macho reads children's stories, and I'm going to reach out to independent authors, and if they want me to read their story, we can do something like that. So that's a thing. I have a lot of behind the scenes, especially Godzilla versus Macho Man, which is ridiculous and hilarious. Making of, and I just have so many clips that I can never post them. There's just so much stuff.
Yeah.
So all the stuff will go there uncut. If you guys have ideas, send me a message. I've been writing them down. But Patreon's a big one. Soon I'll be going to WrestleCon. I'll be there all weekend. I'll be at Wale Mania for Thursday at WrestleMania night. I might be at Remix Rumble as well. Going to a pop-up on Saturday, block party from the Suplex Wrestling Store. So there's a bunch of independent merch people doing that. WWE World on Friday, along with WrestleCon. I'll be Wolfpack Macho. If you see me, man, say hello. I'll be there. Yeah. I might turn heel, so don't take it personal. But I'll be with Dusty all weekend. and Dark Loco as The Rock, and Roman, whoever else he wants to be. And then in May, we have Wrestle Show, which I think is like Wrestle Bash, another convention in Jersey. 80s and 90s Wrestling Con by Tommy Fierro. I'll be there as well. There's also Philly Fan Fest. I had my website, write me a schedule so I know your stuff. And then late in the summer, going to my first Dragon Con over in Atlanta. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Manor 3. That's all I can think of right now. And also shout out to for 3D, FORE 3D, I believe. This guy makes custom 3D printed stands for action figures, and you hit a button and it says stuff, but mine has died right now. Battery. And Slim Jim, hire me. Give me, do something, man. I'm promoting you. You're not promoting me.
Give the man a sponsorship.
Are we dating? What's going on? Are we still together? Talk to me.
Hook the man up. Come on. Take care.
Yeah.
Let's
I
make
love
it
it.
official.
So, guys, just make sure you are following the Machoverse over on Instagram and on TikTok. He has been on TikTok live this entire time, hanging out with his fans and followers, man. So make sure you check him out. Aaron and Mark, do you have anything else for this legend?
You've only
I
just
think we're all
begun.
set, man.
No, man.
I got
that's
stuff
it.
coming out from Chile as Macho Man. I got stuff from Disney World still conventions, man. I got a lot coming out, so get ready. I got memes too. Gentlemen, thank you for having me on the podcast. I hope you do well, continued success, and I'll see you later. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Anytime you want to chat wrestling, you let us know, all right?
I appreciate that. Gentlemen, take it easy. Ooh,
Thanks for
yeah,
your help.
see you
Thanks for your
soon.
time, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, be
You
good.
too.
All right. You guys want to chat any more sports before we head out for the day? You got some things you want to talk about?
Go.
I just got one thing there.
Go ahead.
How
Get it
did,
out of your
how did
system.
last night go, Aaron? How was did you happen to see did you know there's a basketball game on last night? It was Duke, North Carolina, second time this year. Do you remember who won?
Yeah, it's North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina again.
Yep. That's okay. Tournament's coming up, buddy. I don't care. They can win all the preseason stuff all they want. The real season starts and the bracket starts.
We just became the ACC in-season winner. So
That's all right.
we could have shared
okay.
it with you, but we didn't want to.
You know, it's like winning the division in baseball. Doesn't mean crap if you don't win the World Series. So
We'll have to see who goes farther when it comes to we have the ACC tournament this weekend, and then we have the March Madness. So guys, keep an eye out. We are going to do something for March Madness. We're going to do something brackets. We're going to have our own bracket on one of the sites that you guys can join us and see how you fare against all of us and our picks and stuff like that. But that's the main thing I want to get in, just to give you a shot.
So the big thing that I wanted to talk about today, this is going to take all about 3 seconds. We are going to preview the AL Central. Every team is horrible. So it looks like Minnesota's going to win the division in a walk, obviously, but we'll see what happens there. So we really don't have a lot of time to chit-chat about that, but we figured throw the AL Central in there this week because they suck.
We didn't need a lot of time to talk about it.
So what you're saying is there should be a redistribution.
I think there should be a realignment of everything. Shuffle it all up. Make it fresh.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm with it.
Okay.
So
awesome. Yeah. That one's not really a hard division to get into. I think the Twins are going to do it. Maybe the Guardians might have a slight chance, but other than that, I don't see them doing anything anyway if they do make the playoffs. So
Joe, you're right. Any softball team around here could play in the AL Central, probably win a division.
100%.
I just wanted to reiterate, guys, we did have an awesome time Friday night at Castle on the Delaware. Micromania Midget Wrestling. We were up there. Whoops, sorry, I said it. Good time, Corey. We had a blast with Mark and Jared and everybody else that was up there. Corey, you did a great job getting everything together. So thanks for having us up there with you.
You as well, man. It was just a great time. I think everybody did well. I mean, it was our first time doing a show from a live venue. We kind of knew what we wanted to do, but we also didn't know what we wanted to do until we really started to get going. So it was trial by fire. It was figuring out how to manage the next one. Look at that. I got to hold the belt. I was super excited about that. That's my boy Daddy Cool right next to me, the new champ after that Rumble. That was pretty cool. Flying Ryan in the front, representing Nonsense and Deep Thoughts podcast with our nice red shirt.
If there was ever a better representation of this podcast, it's Ryan in that shirt flapping the birds off.
You ain't kidding me, man. You ain't kidding.
That's the truth.
But yeah, I did a little thank you video that I put out on the page, and I can't reiterate that enough. I mean, it was an awesome company. They were great to work with, and the venue, the owners of the venue as well, Mustav and Elena, they were wonderful as well, gracious hosts. It was just wonderful to be a part of all of that on Friday night. It was electric. The fans were very much into it, and I just love being in that kind of atmosphere. And hopefully, we get to do it again.
Yeah, it seems like we're going to be able to do another one. So.
And having our own little form of a bouncer right next to us, keeping the camera line clear right there.
Joe, thank you.
Thank you for that.
Much appreciated. But he was
that
also
much
your private
needed.
bartender.
He was, and that was great too. It's just sad that my second drink from him got wasted halfway through because some drunkie sat next to me.
Your new friend.
That was your own fault.
Listen, I'm trying to be about the fans, be for the fans, let people know we understand. We're humble. We are a small podcast. We are a local crew. We do this as a hobby, and I want to let people enjoy this show with us. So I thought I was doing something nice, and I think I did, and I think I handled it fairly well. And then she reached across in front of me and grabbed my drink and drank from it, and I did not finish that drink.
You did handle it well. I will always tell you this: people can enjoy it from outside my bubble. Do not come in my bubble.
I'm all about it. Now, I will say though, if we get a little bit bigger, I might have to start putting the foot down and being like, we are a professional team here. We are a professional production. So you got to mind your manners when you're around us.
What do you mean by that?
Local crew, international audience. Oh, that's right, Beanie. And we appreciate you for it. I hope everything's going well for you, Beanie. It's nice to see you.
Jared,
right.
Next one, you got to come up for it.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was missing
missing
Jared every second of that night. I was like, man, I wish he was here. He would love this.
I've never physically met Jared, and I missed him. So.
Right.
I mean, somebody else was Jared for the night, so
that's right. We gave him your pass, and I have your pass sitting right here at the computer too. Your nice.
Maybe next event.
Got that.
Yeah, next event. Maybe I'll come down for.
Yeah, baby.
Down. Yeah.
Up, down, in,
we're
out.
up for you.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to come to you one of these times, buddy. You can't be traveling all the time. We're gonna have to make a road trip. Although I will say to you guys, I was proud of you. You behaved yourselves for the most part on the way up there.
Yeah.
You guys were pretty tired on the way back, but I think an 8-hour road trip to Virginia, I don't know how that's gonna end up.
Hey, well, I'm letting you know right now. I am going down the first weekend of May. I'm setting that up. I'm going down. We're gonna hang out. So if anybody else wants to roll out, you let me know.
Yeah. I'll be down.
That was Jared being excited. That was Jared getting a little excited, man.
I see him excited down there. He's. No, I'm going down there in June too, so I'd like to get together with him at some point. So that would be awesome. That'd be fun.
I'm about to try to get a guest for next week. Now we've had guests 2 weeks in a row.
Just keep rolling, baby.
Just keep going.
And speaking of guests, the variety show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have our very own guest, Jacob from the Sunday Night Army and the Prudent podcast will be joining us. He is a friend of ours from the Great White North, and we will discuss all kinds of different topics with him. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to get into, but I kind of want to see what life is like up there in Canada for him and those around him. And, of course, talk about his podcasts and what makes him do it and all those wonderful things. But yes, I do want to hear about life in Canada. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night for that. Anything else we have coming up that we want to promote? Oh, maybe maybe a giveaway. Maybe we have a giveaway going on, guys. So get over to our page. We do have a post that is pinned at the top of the page for the giveaway. We're doing our 1,500 follower giveaway. We're almost to 1,700 followers at this point. And if I recall correctly, Aaron, you said that if we hit 1,750 by the time the giveaway rolls around, you will toss in another item to add to the giveaway. So another winner.
I'll put it to you this way. The thing we're giving away is awesome from the sports side. If we get to 1,750, the surprise item is better than the first one.
Get out of here.
Get
out of here.
Can't make it
I think Aaron's crazy for giving away the things he's giving away, but absolutely fantastic items.
Daddy, chill.
Yeah. So make sure that you head over to the page and you invite all of your friends, because the more followers, the better time we're going to have here in chat every single live stream. So get in there, enter the contest. All you got to do is comment NDT and be there next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern for the variety show for your chance to win. You have to be in chat to claim your prize this time. You got to be in chat to claim your prize. And we've got a prize for our show, a prize for the sports show. So the first winner, you get your choice, which one you want, and then the second winner takes whatever the hell is left over. So you better appreciate it.
To clarify for them, we're not going to do the giveaway right at the start. We're going to give people a few minutes to get in and get themselves settled in case they're a few minutes late. But yeah, we definitely, guys, you got to be in it to win it. I don't want to steal someone else's phrase, but make sure you're there. You're not going to want to miss it because, again, if the bonus item comes in, you're not there. You don't want to miss that either.
100%.
Can I enter?
No. Tough luck, buddy. Tough luck. You're part of the talent. You can't win anything. But guys, thank you again for joining us today as we welcomed in the Machoverse. Make sure you check him out over on Instagram and on TikTok. The man is great. He's very humble. He enjoys what he does. And don't be ashamed to enjoy pro wrestling. It is a wonderful entertainment. Yeah, spectacle. Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I'm
going to
call it.
Joe, the Sox hat's for the AL Central, buddy. We did a preview. Pay attention, man. Pay attention.
Yeah, it was a really long preview.
5-second preview. But yeah, pro wrestling is not as lame as you guys make it out to be. It is a fun time, and I know it's like anime, man. I know so many people that enjoy anime. They just don't want to say it out loud because they're afraid of getting made fun of for it.
Nerd.
I know there are a lot of people that enjoy pro wrestling. Don't be afraid to admit it, guys. It is a fun time. It is so much better than a lot of TV out there. So don't mess around. I'm trying my best to not cuss for you guys. Morning show, not night show.
It's okay.
Every time you see me hesitate, it's because I was about to say a cuss word and I'm trying to figure out a way around it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. But anyway, yeah, thank you for joining us again today. Thank you for checking out the Machoverse. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you tune into the variety show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Guys, anything else before we head out?
I'm good. That's it.
Go Heels, baby. Go Heels.
All right, Jared, get us out of here.